have a video already up which deals with this issue, for which I have some additional information to add. The video is a musical sort of video, but the evidence is all photographic, so I don't see any need to try to do a comprehensive video on this. And the topic here is what I believe are signals that are given from the side of the road to people inside the limousine when the car turns onto Main Street at Harwood in Maine, and when the car turns onto Houston Street from Main Street at Main Street and Houston Street. That is, when the car turns onto Main Street and when it turns off of Main Street, I think we have signals being given to the people in the car. I think these signals are expected, and that they are given in such a way that so that they're hard to miss if you know what you're looking for. And to start, this is at Harwood in Maine, and this is one of the signals here, where we have two men, one dressed in black, one dressed in white, or a shirt anyway, and they're holding something. I don't know what it is, but they're both holding something in the same manner, something that's reflective, whether it's a mirror or what, I don't know. And we have Kellerman and Greer, those two Secret Service men in the front seat, looking at them. And after they go by, Clint Hill gets off the car and gets onto the follow-up car. So I think a signal has been given here. And from Main Street to Houston, when they're turning on to Houston Street, I think we have another such signal. And I put the name Robertson in there because I think that's Rip Robertson of the CIA. And next to him, I've put the name Shackley in there because I think that's Ted Shackley of the CIA. And Rip Robertson is holding his hat, which I take to be the signal. And Jackie is holding her hat, which I take to be the signal. Now, I know there's an explanation that James Alkins gives for Jackie, which I deem to be a lie. So anyway, this is what I said in that other video. This is what I meant to convey through my music video, that signals were given and that these are the people giving the signals here at both intersections. Now, going back to Harwood in Maine here, I also implied in my video, and I think is the case, that Jackie also got a signal at the first intersection here, because she reacts, I believe, in a somewhat surprised manner. She puts her right hand up to her face in a kind of an oh my goodness moment, I believe. And I think she has got the signal and she realizes, oh my goodness, we're going to kill him today. Yes, that's what I think. And I think this shows that she got a signal. However, if you'll notice, she's not looking at the side of the street where the two guys are standing. She's looking to the other side of the street. So I conclude, even though there's no photographic coverage, that somebody on the other side of the street has given a signal that Jackie has seen and recognized. So there's a signal on each side of the street at the intersection of Harwood and Maine. So I'm saying that here at Harwood and Maine, where these two guys are giving a signal, directly opposite the street from them, there's somebody else giving a signal, and that Jackie is looking that way, so she gets the signal, even though she's not looking at these two guys. And that would make sense. You want to make sure that the people in the car get the signal. It would make sense that you would have people on each side of the street giving it, so that if you happen to be looking one way, you'll still see it. And so I think it would make sense, if they did it at Harwood and Maine, that they would do the same thing at Maine and Houston. That is, that they would have somebody on the other side of the street giving the signal too. Now, it just so happens here that the three people, I believe, who are looking for the signal, that is, the two Secret Service agents in the front seat and Jackie in the back seat, they both, and probably John Connolly as well, I can't see where he's, can I? No, I don't. Oh, John Connolly's looking over to this side of the street, not in the same direction as the others. He's looking to the west side of Houston Street, not to the east side. So Connolly is looking to the wrong side of the street, apparently. But if there are signalers on both sides of the street, as I think would make sense, and as I now think there are, then he would have got the signal from the left side of the street. I hope somebody can understand what I'm saying. But anyway, I think it makes sense here, too, that there would be someone giving a signal on both sides of the street. And notice the signal here, the touching of the hat. That's what Rip Robertson is doing, and that's what Jackie is doing. And lo and behold, and Allah Kazam, in the Dorman film, one frame of the Dorman film, we can see the mystery radio patrolman, which I recently made a video about. We can see that he has his right hand up to his hat. It's not obvious, or I would have noticed this earlier, but if you look there, you can see there's this dark blur, which I interpret to be his right arm, which is held up, and his hand is up on his hat. So at the same moment, the car is turning the corner, that Rip Robertson has his hand on his hat, that Jackie has her hand on his hat, on her hat. This mystery patrol officer, who shouldn't be here because a traffic cop is assigned to this intersection. So this guy is specially put here, and apparently one of his jobs is to give a signal to the limousine, and I think that's probably the signal that John Connolly saw. And this is that officer, apparently the same person. He's standing in the same place in the Hughes film. Now here he does not have his hand up, but of course the limousine has already passed and is turning on to Elm at this point, so he wouldn't need to have his hand up anymore. And here is the same officer visible in the Skaggs film, where the car has just passed. His hand is not up here either, but I believe he had just put it down at this point because the car had just passed. Or the people in the car would no longer be looking at him at this point. He perhaps even made eye contact with John Connolly, who had been looking that way. So I think he had his hand up to his hat, just like Jackie had her hand up to her hat as the car was approaching the corner. She didn't just put it up when it got there. She had her hand on her hat, you can see in one of the films, as they were approaching the corner. Well, presumably this officer was doing the same at that time. And here, unfortunately, the hand has already gone down, I think, in the Skaggs photo, even though at this point Jackie does still have her hand on her hat. She puts it down a little bit after this. So I say that signals are given from both sides of the street, and that's what's happening here, that this radio patrolman is giving that signal, which is the same hat signal as the others are doing. And I think this is probably R.C. Nelson, though I'm not satisfied that I've proven that to myself. But I think that's what makes most sense with everything else that I think happened.